See, why is that way like that? That's fucking weird. Hey everybody, how's it going? Alright, so I wanted to jump on here and do another video um, regarding Kiely because I just cannot shake the feeling that we are totally being played here by these characters that are all in this story. So I'm going to wait a minute and I'll just give me 1 minute and we will get this started. Okay, now the first thing I want to say, excuse me, the first thing I want to say is I was sitting there talking to my boyfriend about this, okay? And a lot matters. Like we kept saying, like, what gear was the car in when it went? We need to know what gear the car was in, right? Was it in drive? Was it in park? Was it in neutral? Like, what's going on here? Okay. Now I'm going to pull this video up. Now, my boyfriend, Chad, said if the vehicle is in drive, right? When they pulled it out, if the vehicle was in drive, the wheels would not have spun backwards. The wheels would come out and they'd skid, right? It'd be like a skid. The only way that the wheels would spin backwards is if the car was in neutral when it, if the car was in neutral, okay? Now, the dive team never said anything about we had to put the car in neutral or anything like that. Chad said the only exception to this would be is if they were pulling it out and the axle broke. That would be the only other explanation for the wheels spinning backwards. So my thing is, and let me say this before everybody starts flipping out, okay? This is my opinion. This is my theory, all right? So, you all think for yourself. But check this out, okay? Hold on, let me pull this up on my bigger screen. Give me 1 second. I mean, there's just so many things with this case that and every day it just gets worse for me because I like literally I'm like I cannot take it anymore. It's so crazy. All right, just give me 1 second. Let me pull this up on my over here what I'm doing. Where is my... Oh, okay, there we go. Hey, DB, welcome. Awesome. I'm glad you hit that bell, so now you won't miss any future videos. And, I mean, hopefully we can figure this thing out, right? Because we need to get justice for her. And she's already lost her life at this young age. So the only way we're going to get justice for her is if we can make sure that the guilty people are found, like, are guilty. And we can make, this case is so brutal, but if there are cover-ups in certain, how do I want to say this? If there are cover-ups in certain areas of this case surrounding certain people that are involved in the case, then the only way that we are going to get the word out is if we like figure this out for ourselves. So that's what I'm trying to do, because if there are certain people involved that didn't want this found, didn't want this to come out, didn't want this, then it's going to go down the line continuing to be trying to be covered up. So I feel like it's our job to, try to figure these things out for ourselves. All right, I'm almost done, sorry. Okay, so let's do this, all right? Let's get back to this video. And I want you guys to let me know what you think. Tell me what you think you see, okay? Watch carefully. Bella, go. Hold on, I gotta shut my door. My dog just came in. Get. Savannah, put Bella downstairs. Okay, ready? Okay, now I want you to pay close attention to the back wheels. And I want you to tell me what you see. Check it out. Do you see those wheels spinning backwards? See it? It's not being dragged. It's not being pulled. Like it's obviously being pulled, but.
Your tires, you can't see them.
Yes, you can.
I couldn't see them on my end.
Okay, so did you guys see that? You guys see the wheels? Do you see them rolling backwards? Right here? So that either means, the most sense makes that car is in neutral. Right? I'm not crazy. Like Chad said, unless, they broke the axle pulling it out, but.
Or the transfer case or something. There's a lot of car guys out there that would definitely
Tim,
know.
You can't come up here and tell me I'm wrong.
No, it definitely looks like it's in neutral, doesn't it? The tires are spinning.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Because it certainly looks to me like those tires are going backwards. Like they're spinning backwards, which would not happen. Bobo, get out. Would not happen unless the car was in. It wouldn't happen if the car was in gear.
And that's
just the first thing.
And that's a good find because the quality of the video that the news put out, you couldn't notice if the tires were turning. So
no, you couldn't.
It was all blurchy and blopped out, but yeah, you picked that out to me. I didn't notice that. I thought they were dragged out. I didn't think they were moving at all. But
yeah, like you can clearly see them spinning, in my opinion.
That's crazy.
That is pretty crazy. What do you guys think? That would certainly, correct me if I'm wrong, but that would certainly point to, that would be very suspicious if her car was in neutral when it went into the water. What do you guys think? Let's go. Let me go see. And I told you, I'm sorry, I have to do this. It's so ridiculous. I need to get another screen up in here so I don't have to do this. Yes, spinning, right? They are totally spinning. So I'm not crazy. But that means that the car was in neutral. Now, the dive team, when they put out their thing, they never said anything about having to change gears. They never specified what gear it was in, right? So, hey, I think it was in neutral. That's just my opinion. You guys can obviously think for yourselves, but that's one thing. All right. Let's see this. This is from Little Lee XOXO. It says, now zoom all the way in. It looks like a clean cut. Then redirect yourself to the right-hand side. There is a jagged-like piece of glass on the car. All right, let's see. Oh, this thing. All right, let's see. So, you can see right here, clearly see right here, that the back window is down. It is rolled down. It's about, I'd say, a quarter of the way up, maybe a little more than a quarter, but it's right here. This is where the window stops. So the back window was down, okay? Now, we don't know, this front window is not there. It's gone. But you could see little shards of like glass right up here in the corner. Okay, so my thing is, right? If she went into the water, like she had to have been unconscious or not alive when she went into that water because she was a small girl. If she went in and she was alive, she could have easily swam out this window right here. This guy's in my way, but you can see right here. She could have swam out that window. She could have been able to get out. Because we don't know if the front window was smashed when it went into the water, or if it was smashed when the car was flipped over by the divers. So that part is unclear, so I'm not stating anything about that. But that back window is down. When the car went into the water, you would not have been able to roll the windows up or down because it would have fried it. They're electric windows. So there would have been no her trying to roll the window down, right? So clearly, she could not have made it, or she could not have gotten out if she was unconscious in the back seat. So my thing is, and you guys, you do not have to listen to me. Think for yourselves, look at the pictures, figure it out for yourselves. But in my opinion, okay, she had to have been already gone, or at least, the very least, unconscious when she went into that water. Because, and I'm going to say this again too, if she was driving and she was wasted, like everybody, like not everybody, but a lot of people want to say it was a terrible accident, she was drunk, wasted, drove into the lake, okay? I'm going to tell you why there's so many things wrong with that, but everybody is entitled to their opinion, okay? But if she was drunk and she went into that water, then I don't know. Does anybody know the temperature of that water that night? Can anybody find that out? But it would have, your body would have gone into it would have, I think you would have came out of that fairly quickly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I think. So,
you see the big dent? Like, what's that black mark right there and everything?
What black mark?
Right here. There's like a huge mark.
Oh, I see a dent right there.
Yeah.
But again, we don't know if that was in there or if that happened when they flipped we don't know. We do know that back window is down.
And things underwater move in slow motion.
Right.
And like the lady said who just commented, or the person, they were very cautious on what they were doing.
Yeah.
So they, were really trying not to disturb anything, or they were very careful.
Right. Yeah, they were very careful flipping it, but
so I don't think they did any of that damage. I think it was already
right.
done.
Right. But so that's what I wanted to point that out, because I don't know if everybody saw that, but that back window is down. So she, in my opinion, she must have been, like I said, either unconscious or already gone, unfortunately, when her vehicle went into the water. She was a small girl. She could have swam out of that had that not been the case.
Right.
What do you guys think? Conduct says, what if it were front-wheel drive?
It was all-wheel drive.
It was all-wheel drive, they said.
And it doesn't matter if it was front-wheel drive. If a vehicle's in gear...
They can't hear you.
If a vehicle's in gear, it wouldn't move, it'd drag. Unless the axle's broke, or like the drive shaft, or something would have to break.
Right. And DB, yes, that's what I was saying. The dive team does make it. They said they do not touch anything. So.
And they couldn't roll the window down once it hit water. Electric windows, they don't work.
Right, that's what I said.
So I think it had to be in neutral. I think you're right. Which would be crazy.
Right. DB says someone in another chat, by looking up the original dealer manual, that this car came standard with light tinted glass. Well, I mean tinted or not, you can clearly see that window is down in the back seat. You know? She said we can hear him, don't worry. Yeah, okay, that's what I mean though. That, like that's what I'm saying though. I'm gonna guess that it had to have been like 50, I'd say around 50-degree water, if not a little colder, because it's a big reservoir, you know.
I'm not sure. I think they said 54 or 56.
Yeah, somewhere around there, 50 something. But either way, you know, that's gonna give you a little shock, I would imagine. I didn't. All right, let's go over. See, when this first happened and I first heard this kid, and he was like, Kiely's safe, I know she's safe, you know, I was like, okay, I don't know about this, because I felt like. Who says that, right? Like, if your girlfriend or your ex-girlfriend or somebody you care about is missing and has been missing, like, are you going to say, no, they're safe? So I was kind of sketchy about him, but I'm going to play this if you guys have not seen it yet.
And I don't think I'm ever going to be able to process it. And I don't think I'm ever going to be able to process it. I know that it fucking hurts, and I know that it hurts all of you. And I just wanted to say thank you for everyone that put the effort in and tried so fucking hard to bring her home. It really means a lot to me. And I'm sure it means a lot to her too. Thank you. Because she wouldn't want us to sit around sad as fuck all the time. She wants us to be happy, and she wants us to be safe, and she wants us to have a good life. That's all she ever wanted for anyone. I don't want to go fully public with it, like I'm not trying to put this on the news and everything, but I just wanted my closer friends to. And from now on, I want each and every one of you to live the way that Kiely would want you to live.
Isn't that sad? Like, he was obviously sad. Like, it really bothered him. I don't think he can really process this in his mind right now. Like, he's like, this is so fucked up. Like, I think he is going through a lot right now, and I really do think he cared. I mean, he was not there. I'm not I'm not sure why he wasn't there, but he was not there. And you know, this is going to haunt him for the rest of his life, because he's always going to, you know, blame himself for not being there. And so, you know, I just can't be hard on him, you know. Like, it's so sad. It's so sad for anyone that cared about her family. It's a terrible thing. And I just want to make sure, like, when I make these videos, I am not trying to, you know, I want her family to have peace, and, you know, but I don't think that could happen until the guilty parties are found guilty. Like, that's all I want to do. I don't know Kiely, but if that was me, I would want people to do exactly what we are doing. I would want, if that was my daughter, I would want people to find the answers. I would want people to figure out what happened. You know, so that's all I want to do. Okay. Now, this came from people that were at the campsite, right? They were camping, okay, the night that the party happened.
Upchurch's video is crazy though.
Can you guys all like see everything okay? Because it's kind of coming in sketchy on my TV over here. Can you guys see everything all right? DB, let me know.
Upchurch said, "Ask me." What is it? Ask me to sell your kid. Ask your man to sell me your kid. That's funny. That's crazy. Ask your man to sell me your kid.
I hope everything's working okay, because I'm not getting anything back. Can y'all see my screen okay? Alright, well, let me know if you can't. I know, why does this look like this? I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why this screen comes out this way. It's the stupidest thing. Okay, yeah, see, it's like way over to the right on my TV screen, but on my screen in front of me, it's like right where it needs to be, so I'm sorry. Is that better? That should be better for you guys. Okay. So this is from people that were camping there. Now, I'm going to tell you why this is, okay, listen. The FBI came knocking at our door on Tuesday morning asking for any information we may have about the missing 16-year-old Kiely. The high school party she attended on Friday night was literally half-mile from our campsite. We told them that we only saw a train of cars going to the party and another large group of cars going to the party at 9:30 and another large group of cars leaving the party at 12:30 a.m. Our campground is ground zero for the search and rescue efforts. Yesterday, the sheriff brought out a boat to search the reservoir we are staying at. This is so scary and so real, and daily we see and hear helicopters flying all over the Truckee area. Posters on every business storefront and search parties and law enforcement everywhere. Okay. Now, this is why I have a question. This is the only thing I have with this. So, these people were camping half mile from where the party took place, right? But we told them that we only saw a train of cars going to the party, and another large group of cars leaving the party. But they never mentioned the party. The only thing we saw was cars coming and cars going. But, I mean, wouldn't you hear the party going on? Now, half a mile, right? There was music. There was kids, drunk kids, right? Being loud. Kids are loud. And doing all these things. Like, wouldn't you hear it? Or do you think they just didn't mention that? Because the only thing they said they saw was cars coming in and cars going out. So I wonder, like, if they heard the party or if they just, like, didn't mention that. What do you guys think? Because I thought that was kind of weird. Like, you're half a mile. Like, I have neighbors that live down the road from me. I live in the country. And I have neighbors that live, like, down the road from me. And they fight like cats and dogs. And I can hear them fighting in my yard. It's so crazy. So you'd think that you'd be able to hear a bunch of craziness going on. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Okay. Now this, I don't care if you think this was an accident, if you think this was done intentionally, I don't care what you think. This, you cannot tell me that this does not boggle your mind, okay? So, here is where the party was, right? Here's where the party was, okay? Here's where her car was found. LE searched this area for 15 days. It was, I'm sorry, 15 or 16. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's 15 or 16 days. They were searching there. That is not a long distance, okay? I mean, not really. Not for searching. They said they covered 80 miles. And I'm sorry. I said this in my last live, but this is ridiculous. How in the hell was her car not freaking found by local law enforcement? They had boats in the water with sonars. They searched it rigorously. According to them, they searched it rigorously multiple times. How did they miss the freaking car? Right? It's I'm sorry. I gotta not get mad, not start yelling and cussing. So I gotta breathe for a second, but it doesn't make sense. Her car was literally right there. Right there. 14 feet underwater. And like I said in my last video, the height of the car was about, 5.5 feet tall? You know? So really, they would have only had to gone down 8.5, 9 feet. How did they not find it? It doesn't make any sense. You can't be a logical person and tell me that makes any sense. How can that be? How? Like, she's here, and 80 miles is a long way. Like, 80 miles is far. So if they searched an 80-mile radius, would they not have found that? They literally, and I put this in my live the day she was found, if you guys want to. Was it yesterday? Yes. I put this in my live after they found her and her car. And I pulled up an article that from the, I think New York Post, I think it was, and the dive team guy there, Doug. That's his name, right? Doug. Sorry. The dive team was told, they were given a map. They said, here's the places we need you to search. They said, you don't have to search Prosser Reservoir. You don't have to search it. We've rigorously searched it. We've had multiple dive teams in there. She's not in there. You're clear. It's clear. Move on to the next one. And the guys were like, listen, we're already out here. Let's just check it out, right? We're already here. We might as well go check it out. Bam. Finds the car. This is where I struggle with my frustration and my not getting angry. Okay? Because I can only think of one reason inside my head that local law enforcement did not find that car. What do you guys think? And I'm going to go, you know what my one reason is? Because they weren't supposed to find the car. Because they were told not to find the car. And you know what I'm saying. Like a cover up like you would not believe. There is something going on here. And you can't, listen, I believe I'm 100% right on that. But again, that's my opinion. Everybody is free to think for themselves. But can you tell me another reason why they never found it then? Someone else give me a logical reason on why local law enforcement was not able to spot that vehicle. Let's see what's going on over here. Oh, and that's another thing. I got a whole list of notes. But I put them on my computer like a bonehead, and I gotta go to them to remember. Usually I write them down, but I had my computer in front of me, so I typed them up instead. But that's another thing. SF Investigations was there on the ground. He was there, and the terrain was so bad, and the potholes were so brutal, right? That he said you could not drive you could not drive faster than 5 miles an hour. You just couldn't. It would not let you. Like, your car would have been all busted up. That's how bad it was. So how can you tell me that somebody got in it, was going fast enough to go into the lake and freaking be out there 50 feet? It doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense. You could not, and did you see the vehicles they had going in there? You couldn't have gone that fast. It's so stupid. And her family, her grandfather said that she was in that area. Like, she was used to driving in there. They went there all the time. Like, she knew the roads there. She knew how it was. Plus, before she was driving, she was riding there with her family. So she knew what those roads were like. She was brilliant. Like, she was smart as hell. She was 16 and she just graduated. So she was super smart. She was not dumb. She knew. She didn't get into her car all wasted thinking she was going to get somewhere. I mean, listen, I'm sorry. If that's what you think, that's fine that's what you think. But, you know, like I said, we're all entitled to our own opinion. But in my mind, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, so, you know, you don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree or disagree. It's just what it is. I mean, and I am sorry, but nobody could convince me otherwise because it just doesn't make any sense. Okay, let me pull up my notes over here. I'll make this smaller. I'll put them over here. Whoa, sorry. Work with me, guys. Work with me. Okay. Now, can somebody please explain to me why there was no law enforcement out there when the divers found her vehicle? Okay? There was no law enforcement there. Now, when SF Investigations did his interview, his recording on there with Sweetie Pilo, he said that there was no law enforcement anywhere on the grounds. Does that not tell you? And if you remember, they said they were going to scale back on their investigations. Why? Why are you scaling back when you haven't found anything yet? And thank God for AWP, because if they had not gone there, she would still be in there. And that area was written off by local law enforcement. So they would have never searched there again. I mean, this is bonkers. This is the craziest thing. But why was no law enforcement there? Right? Like, if that was my daughter, there's no way. There's no freaking way we're dropping this and you are scaling back. I don't think so. Right? That's how I would be. I feel like that's how any parent would be. But her mom has been through a lot. I mean, this has got to be brutal, right? So I think that's crazy that when the divers found her vehicle, there were no cops there at all. No law enforcement. Law enforcement had to be called in. And imagine getting that phone call, right? You're the cops. Imagine getting that phone call like, we just found her. Where'd you find her? Right here. 14 feet underwater. In an area that they had already searched, and I say searched in quotation marks. You can't see me, but that's what I'm doing. Because it's got to be BS. Right? What do you think? Let's see. Hi, Tammy. Welcome. I know. I thought that too when he said this is a fucked up situation. But that's what I think. I think he even thinks that there's some shit going on here with definitely, with Sami, because he was not there, remember. I think in his head, he even thinks this is fucked up. I know something happened. I know something happened to her, and I know that they had something, like, at least she had something to do with it. Like, I think that's what he was saying in this. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? That's what I think. Okay. We already covered the driver's side window being smashed out and her being in the back seat. We already covered that the fact that she would have had to been unconscious or already gone before entering that water. I mean, law enforcement really dropped the ball here. And we all need to figure out why. All right, covered that. Okay, now couldn't go straight. From where Sami said in the news thing, from where she said that Kiely's car was parked and all the other cars were parked, there is no straight shot from there into the lake unless the car was not where she said it was. Here we go again. This girl is a freaking liar. She has lied from the beginning. She is definitely guilty of something. Okay. Yeah, and SF said, I'm not going to come out and say what because nobody really knows what happened except for Kiely, God, and whoever else witnessed it that night or caused it to happen that night. Those are the only people that officially know what happened. Okay? But he said, in his opinion, it would be almost impossible for her to have drove into that water on her own. And if I'm right about that car being in neutral, that is proof enough that somebody did this to her. How can people not see that? Like, that's what we need. If this car is in neutral when it went into that water, oh man, then they have to. Then they're going to be, all right, let's get everybody that was at the party, let's get them all back because now everybody's a suspect. When, in my opinion, everybody should have been suspect from the beginning. They never should have assumed that they were working it like it was an abduction. That never should have happened. Because all their information they were getting was coming from Sami. Okay? So they should have never said, okay, we're going to treat this like an abduction. They should have kept treating it like it was a missing person and anything was possible. That is not what happened. Okay, now after they found the car, Prosser PD closed their case because it was in Nevada County. So some point right before the water area, that must have been the Nevada County line or something, because that's what somebody had said. They said that Prosser police had to close their investigation because it happened in Nevada County. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Okay, in the CHP's investigation, remember when they pulled her vehicle out and there was that drone shot, right? There was that drone flying over, and you could see an area in the sand that had caution tape around it. Now, SF said that was CHP's investigation. So that was a separate thing from what, they were doing. He said there was nothing physical. There was not one physical thing that area was protecting. But what do you think it was? It had to have been something. Could it have been some kind of tracks? Could it have been some kind of marks? I mean, What do you guys think? Possible tire tracks. They had measuring sticks with so they were measuring for distance. I mean, I don't know. Do you think that's where the car was when it was pushed into the water, or however it got in there? Because damn sure, it was not driven in there. It just wasn't. Not by her. I mean, I don't know. Do you think a boat, I think Chad said this. Do you think a boat that was in the water could have dragged the car out into the water? Or another vehicle could have gotten behind it and pushed it out into the water? I mean, that's totally possible, right? Another vehicle could have gotten up behind her vehicle and hit it and pushed it into the water. That totally would have been possible, especially with the vehicle being in neutral. Right? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Like, do you not see that as a total possibility? Now, if you look at the map, there was a long ass curvy road from where the campsite was to where the water edge is. It's not a straight shot. So the people out there that want to sit there and say, oh, she was wasted, and she fucking drove into the lake. Sorry, there I go cussing again. She drove into the lake. So you're telling me she went all the way down them curvy roads in the dark, all drunk. She could maneuver through that, but drove into the lake? Come on. It doesn't make any sense. Stop it. All right, now, this is going to be a big thing because Sami wanted to remember when she did her interview and she said, we kept going back to Kiely's car to charge our phone and to get more alcohol. So, was there a bunch of bottles in Kiely's car? Was there any bottles in that car? That'll be important to know. Another thing that'll be important to know. What was she wearing when that car got pulled out? What was she wearing? Because that'll determine who was telling the truth and who was telling a lie. Was her phone in the car? These are all going to be very important things that we need to watch out for and try to pay attention to as this case moves on. I mean, what do you guys think? Because Sami said we kept going to her car to get more alcohol. So there must have been alcohol in her car. Right? Her phone is missing. It must have been in her car. If it's not in her car, that's another suspect thing. Where the hell is her phone? And it's funny because in one of the interviews Sami did, she made it a point to say how much Kiely loved water. She was like, oh, she loves water. She loves water skiing. She loves this. She loves that. She loves being in the water. How weird is that? How weird is that to say during an interview? Unless you know that she's in the water. Sketchy, right? I mean, I'm not crazy here. And you know what else? I don't know. I mean, it's just so crazy. Okay, now this is a big deal. Sami claims to have talked to Kiely at 12:36, even though Kiely's phone last pinged at 12:33. I cut it off here. And she says that Kiely was still at the party because she could hear the party happening in the background. Yet, there was supposedly a mass exodus from the party at 12:30. There are way too many inconsistencies here to be a true story. Okay? Sami could not have possibly talked to Kiely at 12:36 when her last phone ping was 12:33. And then the phone was dead. No good. Gone. Right? So that's a lie. So we already know that's a lie, but what's she going to do now? Backtrack? She can't backtrack and say, "Oh no, I was wrong. I didn't talk to her." So she's got to stay with that story. Right? But even though we know it's wrong because her phone last pinged at 12:33. But when Sami talked to Kiely at 12:36, she knew Kiely was still at the party because she could still hear the party happening in the background. Right? How could the party still be happening in the background when there was a mass exodus of cars leaving at 12:30? Okay, now here's a couple of scenarios I'm going to throw at you, and none of them are good. Okay? Okay, could Kiely have already been gone and her car put into the lake and people saw it happen, which is why the mass exodus, which is why everybody had to get the hell out of there? I mean, I hate to think that, only because how could a bunch of people witness this and not one freaking person come forward and say anything? I mean, there had to have been, if there really was this party that I've yet to see evidence of, if there really was this big party and people really saw her car go into the lake and there was people that helped put that car into the lake, how could not one of them have a conscience? Right? I mean, what are the chances of that? You'd think if that were the case, one person would have came forward. But it would explain why everybody took off and left out of there, right? Because they didn't all decide to leave at 12:30 to go home and go to bed. We haven't heard of a second party location. Which brings me to another thing. Okay, Miss Sami over here, who says, and now hold on a second. Okay, so Miss Sami, who wants to say that she went to Kiely, asked her for a ride. Kiely said, "Yeah, I'll give you a ride home." And then Sami immediately went back to the party, she says, to find another ride because Kiely was too drunk to drive her home. That's what she said, right? So when Sami supposedly talked to Kiely, she was already on her way home. And if you notice, when she says this, she says, "I'm in the car, I'm being driven home." Who drove her home? Because we still don't know that. Who's the mystery driver that drove Sami wherever she went that night? We don't know. We don't even know where she went. How crazy is that, right? She's a main person in this story, and we don't know where she went after the party. We don't know who she left the party with. Wouldn't these be things that we would know? Wouldn't these be things that she would willingly share, trying to find somebody that she really cares about that's been missing? It's crazy. It is absolutely insane. And SF also said that the whole 6 days he was there, he never saw one of the friends out there. Never. Never saw one friend out there in the last 6 days searching for her. What does that tell you? I don't know, guys. There's just so many fishy things, but I'm telling you, I know, DB, that's what I'm trying to say. We all know that everybody didn't leave at 12:30 and go, "Hey, all right, guys, let's call it a night. It's 12:30. We're going home and going to bed." No. especially a bunch of drunk teenagers and a bunch of people wanting to party. You're not going to go home and go to bed at 12:30. Like, that's ridiculous. You're not going to be leaving, till 2, 3, 4 in the morning. And I guarantee you that with a party that big, that many people, and that much alcohol and drugs, there's going to be people passed out there in the morning. There is going to be people sleeping there for sure. That was not the case. So if this happened like some people say that it happened, and everybody got the hell out of there at 12:30, there was a reason why. If that's what happened, why would everybody get the hell out of there at 12:30 unless something bad had just happened and they all witnessed it? And if that's the case, not one of them has a conscience enough to freaking say anything, to put anything out. It's ridiculous to even think that way. That doesn't even make any sense. You'd think there would be at least one kid if this party happened like that, like everyone wants to say that it did. You'd think there'd be one kid in there who had parents that raised them right? If you see something like that, you fucking say something. You don't keep it to yourself. You don't stay hush hush. You don't worry about getting yourself in trouble. Damn it. There is a girl that lost her life. That is what this is about. And I'm going to stay on this, and I hope you guys stay on this. I'm going to stay on this until I think justice has been served, and that means everyone responsible is being responsible. Now, my last note. If it is being covered up by LE, if it was trying to be covered up by them, then we also don't know if the results that we're all waiting for will be legit. And that's the part that scares me. Because cops, lawyers, medical examiners, judges, I mean, you don't know how deep this goes. And I think that if that's the case, I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to get the truth. I don't know if we're ever going to get the answers. Is that true? A mainstream media reduced the number at party to a little over 100, DB says. Really? How do you go from 300 to 100? That's what I'm saying. Every single thing that has happened in this story has been inconsistent. Every single thing that has happened in this story, we hear one thing and then it comes out it's another. This is such bullshit. And if I'm saying I'm calling cover up all the freaking way. But unfortunately, if that's what this is, how are we ever going to get the truth? You know what? I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, it's just, I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of all the lies and the bullshit. Like, can't one person come out and just be honest and say what happened and not worry about themselves getting into a little bit of trouble for some weed or for some mushrooms or what the hell ever, you know? It's ridiculous until somebody comes out and mans up and, takes a little bit of fucking responsibility here. I'm sorry. Here I go swearing. I'm getting mad. It's, that's why I think we need to stay on this. Because we need to look for little things like that. Like the wheels moving on the back of the car, which tells us that car was in neutral. We need to learn to be we need to learn to be little private home investigators, right? So we can investigate this shit and find things that they might not want to tell people, that they may want to sweep under the rug. We cannot let that happen. I mean, this case has it's opened a lot. It's opened a lot of cans of worms here. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that have to pay for it. I want to know what the back bumper of the car looks like. I want to know, and they covered it up. I know they covered it up because of, her body being in there. But I want to know what the bumper looks like. Is there any dents in the bumper? Like as another car pushed that car into the lake? Because my gut and my heart tell me that there is no way that girl drove into that fucking lake by herself. There's just no way. There's no way. You couldn't convince me. You could not tell me otherwise. Because I have my own brain. I can see for myself. I don't just listen to what the news tells me. I don't just listen to what the cops want to say. I don't just do that. Like, you have to think for yourself. Hey, DB, I see your messages. If you go to my channel and you go to my about, you can email me. My email address is in there. And if anybody wants to we can do a future video. Like maybe I'd get you on here. We could talk. And, if you'd be interested in that, you could let me know. Just go email me through that. And then, you can contact me that way. But, yeah, I cannot let this go. I cannot shake this feeling. And I feel so bad for her. I mean, she had a huge future ahead of her. And they just did this to her. And that pisses me off. And Sami seems like a jealous, little, like, vindictive, deceitful, just, she'd be one of those people that would, try to be your friend in front of you and then totally stab you in the back. But as we know from Kate, they were not friends in the first place. They are not friends. So everybody stop feeling bad for Sami. Everybody stop feeling bad that Sami is being called out. Sami is being called out because she's lied every time she opens her mouth. Sami is being called out because her bullshit stories don't make any sense. And that's just what it is. Like I said earlier, I am not trying to take anything away from Kiely, and this story is so sad. I am trying to get justice for her by making sure that every single person that is responsible gets held responsible. And we as a community can do that. Because when the cops aren't doing their job, good thing there's YouTubers that have, they can spend time working on these things and pointing little things out. So, listen, I hope you guys like this video. Please leave a thumbs up. Please share. Let's grow this and grow this into something and help other people. Like, I want to help anybody I can. So please like, share, subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already, and make sure you click that bell so you're notified of any videos. Because I definitely will be doing more, especially the more that I learn and the more we can find out. So until next time, stay strong, stay healthy, stay safe, love your children, and, just we got to put an end to this. We got to find out what happened. All right, everybody, I hope you all have a very good night, and I'll be back on this probably tomorrow.